Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's National Geographic Explorer Classroom. My name is Joe Grabowski. I will be your host for today. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, over the next 2 weeks, we're celebrating Big Cat Week at National Geographic. So Big Cat Week is an extension of the Big Cats Initiative, which supports scientists and conservationists working to save big cats in the wild. And we're very excited to have our second hangout of the day underway. We are visiting the Nankuse Foundation, which was founded in 2006 by Dr. Rudi and Marlice van Vuuren, with the aim of conserving the land, cultures, and wildlife of Namibia. It runs several crucial projects to improve the health and well-being of the ancient San Bushmen of Namibia. It provides a second chance to countless orphaned, injured, and or conflict animals, and it works to prevent land degradation and stands at the forefront of the human-wildlife conflict, as well as undertaking critical conservation research. Rudi is also a medical doctor, having played a key role in the founding of the Nankuse Lifeline Clinic, which is providing free healthcare for San communities. And Marlice grew up in the heart of the Namibian bush. She's dedicated her life to the conservation of the people as well as the animals. Rudi and Marlice, it is so great to have you joining us live today for this Explorer Classroom.
Thank you very much. It's a very good idea.
Thank you. It's an honor for us.
All right. Well, it is absolutely great to host you for Big Cat Week. I know you guys do some amazing work with the Big Cats Initiative. And I believe right now you're 7 hours ahead of Eastern time. So the sun is just setting for you there.
Yes, it's a beautiful sunset now and nice and warm, hot Namibian sunset.
All right. Well, there's some classrooms joining us from different spots around North America. So some of them, like in Anaheim, they're having a little bit of warmer weather, but some of us up here on the East Coast, we're hitting below 0 at night. So we're a little jealous of your warm weather.
You can send us some rain. We appreciate some rain. We can get some sunshine.
We'll do whatever we can. That sounds like a fair exchange. I think I'll see what I can do about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'd love to hear a little bit about the two of you and a little bit about just what you're doing to help protect some of the wildlife.
You can go first.
Come on.
Both Marlice and I were born in Namibia. We are the 5th generation here in Namibia and grew up here in Namibia. My schooling was in South Africa, Marlice here in Namibia. You gave the basic background. So if you will allow us, we will do a short presentation and talk about the work we do and show 1 or 2 videos. And then we are open for questions.
Sounds like a good plan.
Right, let me see if I can master the technology and show you a little bit of what we do here. We're gonna first show a video. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, it's just loaded on our side.
Where's the video? I want to start with the video. Let's do it. So, I just want to play the video. That one. Give a second.
Sorry, hold on.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
Run again.
That's okay. Technology doesn't always cooperate.
Here we go. Right. Okay. Are you guys still there? Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Right, we're just bringing the technical expertise. All right. So that video is just an example of the work we do. In Namibia, most of the wild leopards and cheetahs are found outside of protected areas. So they are not in national parks or private protected areas. They are on commercial farmland, and that inevitably leads to conflict with the farmers. That is a map of Namibia, and you can see the farms. You can see the borders of farms throughout Namibia, and the black areas. That's where there's commercial farming, and that's where we find the cheetahs and leopards in Namibia. We have the biggest free-roaming cheetah population in the world. We estimate that there's about 7,100 cheetahs left in the world. 4,000 of those cheetahs are in southern Africa, and the majority of those cheetahs are in Namibia. So 10 years ago, we took a decision that when we were called by farmers who caught a cheetah or a leopard or a hyena or whatever in a cage and wanted it removed, we said to ourselves, putting these animals in captivity was not a long-term sustainable solution, and that we had to look at the conflict between humans and carnivores and how we can try and mitigate that conflict. And we decided to work with one farmer at a time, and to only work with farmers who really wanted to make a difference and work with us. And that's how we started our rapid response unit. Now, I think this is the one we just watched, so we can skip this. So we're always ready to respond to these conflict calls. We call it consultations because we engage with the farmers. We try and build a relationship over years with the farmers. And when we started, we had 16 calls in the first year. And that has just escalated because the farmers talk to each other. And if they save money through the ways that we help them, then they will call us. And then it's a successful sort of mitigation for us. The farmer benefits and the animal benefits. Those are just pictures of typical calls that we go to. And in the last 9 years, we've collared almost 100 carnivores. We've consulted with more than 700 farmers. And we've decreased the lethal removal of carnivores with 80%. And a very important point is that many of these farmers ask for help again, which shows that it does work and they do benefit. Many of them report the benefit lasting around 16 months before they have a problem again. But that's 16 months of giving a carnivore another chance and 16 months of that farmer being more tolerant. And when we started this work, we classified the farmers into tolerant, non-tolerant, and semi-tolerant. And there's a definite shift in farmers becoming more tolerant. So currently what we do is we follow a decision tree of how to respond to conflict. The first prize is always to try and convince the farmer to release the animal back in situ so that the animal is not taken out of the population and a void is created. And if we can't achieve first prize, we go for second prize, and that is collaring that animal with a satellite collar. And the picture on the top right is the downloads from these collars that we get every day on our computers. And this download is then shared with the farmer. And in the picture on the bottom right, shows a typical pattern of a download when an animal has killed something. We then share with the farmer that there's a kill site, and they investigate these kill sites, and 95% of the times they find natural prey. So slowly but surely, we change their perceptions of how these animals move, what they kill, and what damage they do.
So boys and girls, it looks like we may have just lost the signal for a moment. Obviously, they're connecting from a part of Africa that's pretty remote, so the internet's not perfect. So we'll give them a moment and see if the signal comes back. But it is neat that they're talking about cheetahs right now, because today, if you may or may not know, is World Cheetah Day. So that's pretty exciting. And our hangout this morning from South Africa dealt with cheetahs and moving the cheetahs around to different locations so that there was healthy breeding populations. But Rudi and Marlice, can you guys still hear me? All right, just give me 1 second. I'm going to shoot them an email just so they know that it went down on their end. And then we'll see if we can get them back. Oh, that's a good sign. If they went out, that means that they know that their signal's gone down, and that means that they'll make their way back in. So what we can talk about now while we do wait is that there's a few things we want you guys to do for us. So the classrooms who are watching online via YouTube, if you can use the YouTube chat sidebar and send us a little message, tell us where you're watching from, what grade you are, where you are. We'd love to get some of your questions in to the Hangout. And then the other thing you can do for us is take some pictures during the Hangout today and post those pictures onto Twitter with the hashtag either Big Cat Week and Explore Classroom, because then we'll see them and we'll be able to share those pictures out as well. We always love to see classrooms in action. All right, so I've just sent them a message and hopefully they'll make it back in. All right, so all this week we will be celebrating big cats, and we started off on the 27th with a hangout with Beverly and Derek Joubert, and they founded the Big Cats Initiative with National Geographic, which is funding all these amazing grantees who we have the opportunity to hang out with all across the United States and Africa over the next few weeks. We'll be diving into jaguars and cheetahs and lions, tigers in India. So it's going to be a really exciting week, and hopefully we can get this hangout back on track if Rudi and Marlice are able to come back in. But as I mentioned before, we had a test call earlier in the week and it went really, really well. But it is Namibia and it is a remote location, so we'll have to see. Hopefully they're able to make it back in smoothly. Maybe while we are waiting, let's meet the classrooms. So let's turn on the microphones. We'll get the classrooms to say nice big and see how we're doing. So our first classroom is joining us from Mississauga, Ontario. They're a grade 3 classroom. Let me turn your microphone on. Let's see how loud you guys can be. How you guys doing?
Grade 4. Grade 4. I already said. Good. We're in grade 4. You can say hello now.
4. All right, let's hear it nice and loud.
We're allowed to be loud now. Oh, yeah. stamps.
Not bad, not bad. Let's see our next classroom. So we have Mrs. Larmer's class is joining us from North Bay, Ontario. Grade looks like 4, 5, and 6 on my list. Let me turn your microphone on and see how loud you guys can be. All right, pretty good, not bad. Let's see, Mrs. Hance is joining us from Austin, Texas. She's got some 6th graders with her. Let me turn your microphone on and let's see if you guys can top that. Okay, fair enough. Big group there, that was pretty good. Moving down our list, we're going to British Columbia now. We have Mrs. Walchuk with some students joining us in McBride, British Columbia. Let me turn your microphone on. How are you guys doing this morning? Pretty good, pretty good. We're going to go over to Mrs. Hamilton now. Mrs. Hamilton is joining us from Anaheim, California, grade 6 classroom.
Okay.
How are you guys doing?
Well, I think you're great.
All right, good job. And then we have Mrs. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Mrs. March joining us from British Columbia, Langley. Let me turn your microphone on. How are you guys doing?
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Excellent. So I think I introduced everybody. I don't think I missed any classrooms. So I'm sorry about this, guys. Sometimes this happens, especially when you try to do connections from remote areas. So I sent a message to them and hopefully get it and realize that the connection went down. Because at the very least, maybe we can get them back and do a Q&A, because it's possible that the presentation was just too much strain on their internet. So I'm going to send one more message to all the parties and see if we can get this to work. But it may be that technology defeats us today, which would be unfortunate. As you can see, they do some pretty amazing work in a pretty remote environment, not only for the animals, but for the people too, because there's no sense protecting the animals if the locals aren't on board, if they're not the animals for conservation value, for possible tourism dollars. You know, farmers, it's easier just to kill the animal. It's a little more effort to actually capture the animal. But I thought that was them joining back in, but no luck. But by working with the communities, they're able to protect the animals, give the community some incentive and reason to do it as well. So I hope we can hear a little bit more about what they do. Okay, so I just sent one final email. We'll give them another couple minutes, and if they don't make it in, we have a few options we can work with. We can see if we can get the Hangout rescheduled for later in the week and see if that works out for us. And also, obviously, because we have classrooms gathered, I'm sure you guys want to see something. I highly recommend going back to our Hangout from this morning on the National Geographic Education page and checking out Vincent's Hangout about the cheetahs. A great bit of information, and he was outside in a reserve. There used to be cheetahs, but the cheetahs had been completely wiped out. So they were checking to see if there was enough prey and if the fences were in good enough shape that they could release cheetahs there in the future to try and bring some of the population back. So it's a sad story, but it's also a positive story. On one sense, they do have to fence in a lot of the areas where the cheetahs live now, in areas of South Africa. But on the flip side, the cheetahs are being protected and their numbers are rising. So it's kind of a bit of, it's a win, but it's also kind of sad to think of big sections of Africa being fenced off. But that's kind of what has to happen to protect some of the animals. So we'll give them another minute. I don't see anything. So what we're going to do now, for the classrooms who are watching live, I am going to stop the broadcast because it just doesn't look like we're going to have any luck with this connection today. I'm going to jump over to our YouTube page and I'm going to share the link to the Cheetah Hangout this morning to the classrooms watching on camera and live so that you guys can check that out with your time. So if you'll just give me one moment, I'm going to share that link for you guys. Good morning, everyone. All right, so that link has now been shared via the blue chat sidebar on the live feed. So the classroom's on camera, you should get that link now. I'll share it to your email as well, and I'm sharing it now on the YouTube page to make sure that the classrooms watching have something they can go to. You guys can check out our Hangout from this morning. So beat us today, but we'll definitely see if we can figure out a way to try again. So thanks everybody who joined in. Keep an eye out for the 7th. That's our next Hangout, where we'll be going to India with Krithi Kranth, and we'll be talking about conservation of tigers. That's the 7th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So we're going to log off for now.